Hello, you're listening to the Frugal Crafter podcast. I'm Lindsay Weirich, and today on the podcast, I have Sarah Takis from the SoCraftastic YouTube channel, where she has been delighting viewers with fun and approachable arts and crafts for over a decade and has rung up almost 2 million subscribers. Sarah, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is Muse, by the way.
Oh, so cute. Is that a boy or girl cat?
That's a girl, and her brother is Phoenix. He's an orange tabby, so he might pop in, but he's watching birds right now.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, people love the animals, so that'll probably improve the ratings here on the podcast today.
Yeah.
And if you're listening on one of the podcast apps, just come over to the Frugal Crafter YouTube channel and you can see the video version. Sarah, it has been so lovely to see you evolve over the years on YouTube from the early juice pouch crafts and polymer clay to trendy new craft kits. What are your favorite projects to make?
Right now, I guess I've always been into mixed media, but more so now I'm trying to, I guess, evolve and mature, head into the garage and do some woodworking. I'm very basic right now, but I love the wood burning, just woodworking in general. I want to get more tools and I love incorporating paint. And then lately, I've also been cutting the pieces, drilling holes in them, and joining them with chain, like necklace chain. So I'll do
Cool.
different metal elements in these pieces, and it's been a lot of fun. I'll do it with canvas as well. I've incorporated thread, so I'll sew. I think I sewed a heart recently into a canvas and cut the middle out. So I like mixed media a lot.
You have a lot of tools. Do you
I'm
have a lot of woodworking tools?
I'm working on growing. I have all the basics. I have a drill. I have right now. My stepdad he's letting me borrow his jigsaw, so I have some stuff.
Oh, that's really exciting. I saw a video of yours where you wood burned a design onto like a wooden plaque and then used watercolor paint to like stain it, and it was so pretty. How do you come up with ideas like that, or that idea in particular?
So I want to say that while I was doing a ton of craft kit testing, I had a series where I would just do a bunch of Crayola craft kits, and then I ventured out, looked up stuff on Amazon, and I don't know if I said it in my video how I found out or if someone recommended it, but I believe that I just came across it on Amazon while looking up craft kits, and it was a really inexpensive wood burner, and it's called the Versatool. So it came with different interchangeable tips, so you can do various textures and everything. And it was just this little tool that you could burn any design into wood. And I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And so I tried, I think on a wooden kitchen spoon, and then I got some wood plaques. And in that video, I just did the basic wood burning, and it was really fun, but obviously that's not very colorful. And you can see behind me, my SoCraftastic vibes, very different from my actual personal style. My bedrooms are not as colorful, but when it comes to YouTube and art and expression, I love to use colors a lot. So part of my channel over the years has been doing different series, which seems to work really well. And I enjoy getting to test different art materials and supplies. So the second episode of the wood burning ended up being Sharpie markers. So then I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I include? And I ended up doing watercolors. I ended up doing Posca paint pens, acrylic paint pens. And I've done that a few times actually. But yeah, just trying to do alcohol markers, anything that I can get my hands on to see how it works on the wood.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. I haven't done much with wood burning, but I have that little Versa tool, and I was using it to cut a hole in plastic the other day because
Yeah.
it's hot, so you can, cut down plastic or foam core and things like that with it a lot easier than using a knife. I've been looking through your videos and it's a walk down memory lane because I did a lot of those projects with my daughters. So it was really fun to see the rainbow looms and the duct tape crafts among a bunch of other trends that kind of came and went over the years. Do you think there are still big craft trends like then, like the ones that we used to see nowadays?
So I basically live under a social media rock, I feel like, because TikTok is where all the trends are, I feel. However, I do see a ton of the cute crochet stuffed animals. I don't know how to crochet or knit, which maybe that's something I don't know if I will because I think it might hurt my hands doing all the repetitive stuff. That's kind of why I took a step back from all those clay charms I used to do. Just kneading the
Mhm.
clay so often was getting to be kind of a stress on my wrists and everything. But definitely those crochet. And then I think not even because of Stanley, but even before Stanley became popular, a lot of people do like tumblers. This is not
Mhm.
quite what that is, but they'll put decorations on them. I don't know if it's vinyl or oh no, they do resin too. They'll put a design and
Mhm.
then they'll spin it and they'll put resin and glitter. So I think those are pretty trendy if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what else though.
Yeah, I guess I've seen a lot of that, especially in like craft fairs and stuff. I'll
Yeah.
see a lot of the tumblers with all the resin and the glitter, and then a lot of vinyl that's been cut like with Cricut machines
Yeah.
on like cups and also on plaques and like a lot of times like a frame, something framed with glass in it, might be scrapbook paper in the back, and they'd have a vinyl saying on the front of it or something. That's I've seen a lot anyway in real
Yeah,
life.
definitely.
What do you think is the most versatile craft supply or art supply?
Um, I Mod Podge is definitely one of them. I
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Mod Podge and probably acrylic paint pens. I mentioned those
Mhm.
earlier, but you can use those on so many different materials. Wood, plastic, glass. I'm not sure how well it sticks to everything unless maybe you sand the stuff first, but at least you know, it will show up and it'll stay. It depends on the wear and tear, I guess, of what you're using. White gel pens also, I feel like
Yep.
are a staple.
Yeah,
Very.
absolutely.
And then this might be controversial, but I always keep a bottle of clear nail polish just in case I'm working with like ribbons or string and like the end if it frays. That's a
Mhm.
really like quick seal if you don't have a lighter. So I feel
Mhm.
like I've used clear nail polish over glue. Oh my goodness, you are acrobatic over here. And so those are definitely
Yeah.
a few of the top things that I always keep on hand.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, can you use a clear nail polish on the polymer clay or does that get sticky?
So that's why I said it's controversial because okay, because you can use it as a glaze. I've used it in the past. I think it depends on the brand that you use potentially, but also the little bottle, if you compare the price to actual clay glaze, I think the reason that a lot of people were recommending that you don't use it is because um, it's a lot more expensive per ounce or however you want to measure it in terms of,
Mhm.
just cost there. But also there might be some, I don't know what the term would be, but like how there's light fastness
Mhm.
for papers and pens and everything. Um Maybe there's something with over time it deteriorating. But I just saw
Mhm.
Simply Not Logical, Christine. It might have been an April Fool's Day from years ago. It was 5 or 7 years ago. She just posted it on her story yesterday. She painted giant metal nails and she's like, look, the nail polish is still on them. So I feel like it is quite long lasting.
Yeah, I would think so, as long as it doesn't react with the clay. I can't
Yeah.
imagine
And I
what the issue
actually
would
did a
be.
painting on wood with nail polish before,
Oh,
and
neat.
it still looks okay. It's a few years old.
I sprayed some polymer clay with a clear spray paint once and it got so sticky. And since then I've been using I'll either use like an acrylic sealer or I still have like a big bottle of Future Floor Wax from back in the day when people would buy that to put. I don't think you can buy it anymore, but I still have some that I put on clay on the rare occasion that I make something out of polymer clay.
Yeah. I didn't know about the floor wax one. I remember there was triple thick, and I used the Sculpey glaze a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the floor wax is basically just like a really thin acrylic varnish, basically. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like the term wax was a misnomer, but that's what people would wax their floor with to basically get it really clean. And then they brush on a coat of this really thin acrylic sealer, which I had no idea that's what people did when they waxed the floor. But it worked great for polymer clay, but I don't think anyone waxes their floors anymore. So the product just fell out of favor.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you this because you do such a variety of crafts. If you were to put together a basic like bin of craft supplies that you want to get somebody set up to be able to do the most variety of projects, what would you put in a kit for like say a 10-year-old, a teenager, and an adult, so they could get the most for their bang for their buck?
She almost knocked over my water bottle. So, my favorite crafts as a kid, coloring and coloring books and Play-Doh. So,
Hmm.
with me putting together a kit though, Play-Doh would frustrate me because a lot of times when you dry it out, it cracks. So I would want to put some sort of step in between polymer and Play-Doh, possibly a nice air dry clay. So something like that with molds. I had this Sesame Street Play-Doh kit, and it had stampers and molds for every single letter of the alphabet. It had Big Bird and Cookie Monster. And I would fill those molds so often and just recreate the characters. So I feel like with the air dry clay, I would want there to be different fun things that you can do with it. It's obviously fun to be creative and make your own things, but it's also really cool to be able to have a very identifiable shape when you're practicing and just getting started and you're like frustrated that maybe you can't make something look like a cake and you want to. And then different like mix-ins potentially. And then the other thing is I really loved incorporating things I would make into miniatures, like maybe Polly Pockets or Barbie dolls, and make accessories for them. When I was a kid, it was more like, I don't know, maybe a rubber duck or a food item. But as I got older, I wanted to try to like make them clothes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I feel like that could also transition over into like preteen with
Hmm.
stuff like that for miniatures. Teenage years, I got into polymer clay. So I got into that, and then I tried to find my style with fashion, quote unquote. It wasn't very fashionable when I was 12, 14, but I was experimenting more with like what I enjoyed wearing. And also a lot of the girls in my class, found this like they found a bead store with tons of glass beads and charms, and they learned how to make jewelry the professional way and add the clasp
Hmm.
and all of that stuff. So I think for teenagers, I would try to do different jewelry projects, and maybe that would include some resin. The UV resin is really fun, and you can do the bezel charms where you fill those with resin and
Hmm.
glitter and different colors. But yeah, metal charms and just different ways. Definitely a booklet to, tell them all the different things. I also really liked making paper beads for
Hmm.
bracelets.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you coat those with a glitter, well, you could do non-glitter, but I used to do like a glitter nail polish, like a clear glitter nail polish. And it's something that you could wear as a teenager. I don't know if I would wear it now, but I think with a certain outfit, maybe it would. Like a black and white one with this outfit would look cute. So I think
Hmm.
a lot of jewelry as a teenager for that kit. And then um, as an adult, it's funny because I kind of tried all the crafts that I wanted to do as a child that maybe I couldn't afford or I just never got around to doing. I still haven't tried a rock tumbler, which isn't really a craft, but I've always wanted to do one of those. But once I started making money, I was going crazy at the craft store saying, "Oh, I want to try this, I want to try that." But I think two of the things I really enjoyed which are kind of similar in the sense that you're going to be using mold, you're going to be melting the material, candle making and soap making, doing different shapes with those. I've made cupcake candles in the past. So I think for adults, just having some stuff with a lot of customization options and a lot of molds. So it would probably be more than one craft kit, but essentially I'm trying to say crafts that are practical. So anything that's home decor related or something that you can use as an adult, I think is more appreciated.
Yeah, I agree because I think a lot of times as you get older, you need to have like a practical reason to do your crafting, not
Yeah.
just for fun. Like
Yeah.
kids just create because it's fun to create, but a lot of adults need like, sewing is great because then they can put it to practical use or making candles or bath bombs or soaps or even things they can give as gifts because I love to get handmade soap as a gift and
Yeah.
things like that. So those are a lot of fun to make. And it's kind of like you're describing everything my daughter Lila likes to craft. So it's fun. She watched a lot of your channel when she was growing up. Um, were you were out of high school when you started your channel, right? Or were you still
Um,
in high school?
my
You look
SoCraft
so young.
my SoCraftastic channel, yes, but there was a channel we don't speak of before then where I did
Oh,
like music videos with my friend. Yeah, we would go to pumpkin patches and stuff, and I really wanted to record things, so I would make videos back junior or senior year of high school, but then I didn't start my main channel, I guess we'll say, until 2010. So I was mid college.
mm. Well, yeah, because you definitely had that very youthful, relatable vibe that my kids really
Yeah.
enjoyed. And I previewed your videos. I'm like, yeah, okay, my kids can watch that. There's nothing going on that channel that I would feel weird about them seeing. So it was very appreciated. Appreciated.
Yeah.
With such a big influence, almost 2 million subscribers, have you ever thought about making kits like you described for people to purchase, or have you done that?
No, so I have thought about it and it would be wonderful. I just
Mm,
really don't know how to go about starting that, I guess.
mhm.
Finding the right partner to work with because I'd need to find, the manufacturers and everything. Also, I'm very indecisive, as you may have picked up on from all the different things I enjoy doing. And if you are familiar with my channel at all or check it out after this, I have dabbled in almost everything arts and crafts related. So it would be a matter, I could definitely figure something out. I think, jewelry and the candles and the soap would be great. But yeah, I don't know where to start and how to get that going.
I totally understand, but I think the charming thing about your channel is that if you don't like the craft you're showing this week, you're going to like what was last week, or you'll like what's next week, and at least it gives people a chance to try a bunch of different things. Especially like I don't know your demographics. We could talk about that in a bit, but I know with like a younger audience who may not have parents who craft or might not have arts and crafts in school, and they might not know what they want to try by seeing this
Yeah.
variety of things. They could be thinking about maybe I'm going to save up and buy a wood burner. Well, there's 10 projects I can try if I invest in that one thing. Or maybe I want to try some polymer clay. Well, there's 10 projects I can try with polymer clay. So I think it's a benefit to try all those different things for your viewers and also keeping you interested in the crafting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Who is the main
absolutely.
who do you think is the main audience for your YouTube channel, SoCraftastic?
So when I look through my analytics, I see personally, I'm not sure. Just by viewing comments and everything, I see a mix. I think more adults and teenagers are commenting, but I know for a fact that, there's a ton of kids who will tell me or their parents will tell me, oh my gosh, they watch your videos, which is awesome. I'm glad that I can tap into different age groups because I feel like, the essence of my channel was at the beginning, me just sharing everything I used to enjoy and currently enjoyed in those moments, and I've evolved with that. But looking at analytics, assuming people don't lie about their age, which I feel like a lot do, with the kids, they pretend they're over 18 for, good reasons, so they don't get in trouble for being on there. But back in 2012, because I have looked this up recently, my analytics said that about 30% were 13 to 17, and then all the rest were 18 plus. Then it was a little bit higher for the 18 to 35. And now I'm seeing that, I guess because people are growing up and getting older, if they've stuck with my channel, even if they're not active, YouTube is still counting them. So there's a few more of the 35 plus age group, and even the 55 plus, I have, I think, 6% instead of like years ago, it was like 1%. So it's cool to see that. And right now, though, it's saying that my 13 to 17 is very low, maybe under 10%. So those people have grown up and or are not not subscribing currently. So yeah, I feel like I am kind of all across the board.
Mm-hmm. I think that the analytics would show your actual viewership, right? Not necessarily subscribers, the people watching. So those would be people that are actually looking at your channel, I would think right now, that were showing up in that report. Yeah.
Okay.
But I bet there's a lot of, if they're younger people and they're watching in, like, say, the YouTube Kids app, I don't think their information would show on yours. But you probably have a good amount of parents and grandparents that are watching for ideas, or the kids are watching on their grandparents or parents' accounts. So, they're kind of being supervised while they're on YouTube if they're under 13 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. To kind of piggyback on that, because we have a lot of YouTubers that listen to this podcast, and I've been on YouTube for 14 years. You've been on the SoCraftastic for 12, right? 12 or 13
2010,
years, I
so
think.
14. In May.
So we're the same. Oh my God, same
Yeah,
year. Wow.
I didn't know that. I think you messaged me saying that you used to watch my channel, and we did a duct tape collab together, right? I did a duct tape
We did a Christmas one.
Right.
Yeah, we did something for
I did
Christmas.
a Christmas tree out of duct tape, and then I don't remember what everyone else did. I think there were a ton of other crafters that you got involved on your channel.
Yeah, that was so much fun. We called it Craftmas, and everyone did a project so that there would just be a bunch of gifts that you could make or decorations you could make, and kind of save some money for the holidays and get some, crafting done with your kids or do some for yourself. And well, so you've been on this long YouTube journey, and you've probably experienced the growing up to a point where you have a really robust viewership and you're getting a lot of views, and then kind of it leveling off because maybe you're like, I changed. I was doing a lot of like frugal crafting, and also doing a lot of card making and doing a lot of kids craft and party craft and things like that because my kids were small. So I was doing these projects with them. So I'd just do a video too while I was at it, and then kind of evolved back to painting and art as my kids got older and I didn't kind of need to make those crafts for different things. I wasn't making them just to make them for a video. I was making them because it was something for my kids or their classroom or whatnot. And so people lose interest and they leave, but they don't necessarily unsubscribe.
Right.
So, so you get this certain amount of, I've seen a certain amount of churn with my audience where people are still subscribed, but I'm not seeing the same amount of viewers as I did back in like 2016 when things were there. Have you noticed that at all with your channel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I have. I think, Rainbow Loom was extremely popular for me, and I haven't done that in years, but I have done so many different series, as I've mentioned, that if someone came for Wreck This Journal, an art journal book, or if someone came for slime, which I was doing slime for a little while, I think most of the people who are just there for slime are not really going to be interested in, it's just a generalization because you'd be surprised what people, all the different interests I have. I mean, why not other people as well? But I think a lot of the younger kids, at least, who watch just slime, they're like, I just want to do slime, or like nano tape bubbles or whatever. So I've definitely noticed that it can be harder to get, well, I kind of went on a hiatus for a while. I'm still not fully back from that. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do, I guess, exactly. Which I feel like I have more of an idea this year, but it took a few years to kind of figure out because every single Friday for I think 7 years, I never missed an upload, and I was doing a project every single week. And then YouTube kind of stepped it up with how people edit, and that really got me, I think, because I was used to being able to crank out something every single week that I enjoyed doing that wasn't over the top. It wasn't painting a car or something like that. And now people are, and then, well, back then, when was that? Maybe 2019, 2020. It was around that time that I just, I think I got a little burnt out from just the intensity of these projects I was trying to do to keep up with people. I was enjoying them. I made a giant sculpture with 200 cans of Play-Doh, but I enlisted the help of 2 people, and that video took over 50 hours with the work of 3 people. So I'm not someone personally who can handle that sort of, it's a lot for me, because if I'm not getting, I guess, instant gratification, which is going to make me sound like a child, but if I'm not able to put my creations out there regularly, it makes me feel like I don't know, I can't keep I need that dopamine. I just need, it might be an ADHD thing. I'm not actually diagnosed, but just from talking to therapists and going through checklists, I probably, have something in that realm. And for, 7 straight years, I was able to be everything I wanted to be on YouTube. And then all of a sudden the bars got raised, or at least in my head they did. But you don't put in 20 hours. I really admire your videos, how chill your studio, just painting. You just paint. You don't put in a bunch of fluff and all the fancy, like, I don't know, all the memes and everything that people are doing. And I really enjoy your videos, just how calm and chill they are. So I think I can probably get back to a point where I'm not spending 20 hours on a project and then 20 hours editing, and find a happy balance so I'm not sitting inside cooped up, I guess. That's part of the thing is I like to get out and do things, and when I was trying to raise the standards for my own channel, it got really, really difficult, even for my own health, like just not moving around as much and going out and doing as many things. So the work-life balance definitely has to change.
Oh, absolutely. And when you were saying that, it reminded me of about around 2017. My channel hit its height at like 2016, and I was posting daily, but they were, like you said, I didn't spend a lot of time on editing. I might practice something a couple times before I turn the camera on, and then I would just try to do it in one go. I'd have things like done in steps so I could pull it in front of the camera, like, and after it dries, it's like this, and bring in the dry piece. And
Yeah.
uh, and that worked well for me. I had a camera that you could actually pause. So like I could pause it, I could get my other stuff, bring it in and hit pause again, and then not, and just edit right in the camera, which was really handy. But then that daily upload was not enough to keep YouTube happy and keep YouTube recommending. And I remember they were saying, go, do live streams every week. So I was doing live streams every week, and that kept that YouTube happy until it didn't, until like
Yeah.
maybe more people started doing it, more people got on the platform, uh and so I would doubling down and doing more videos in daily. Some days I had 2 videos, and then I mean I couldn't even keep it plateaued, and it started to sink down. But looking back at that in retrospect, I think that it was a combination of, the dreaded algorithm changing, but also just an influx of more people on the platform. And I think prior to that, you had a lot of people joining the platform to watch videos and not a lot of creators making videos. And
Yeah.
then Yeah, and I think that tipped the scales. And of course, we all think it's something with us where we all think we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then the YouTube, the experts come out and say, well, you got to edit, you got retention editing, you got to have a cut every 3 seconds, and you got to do this and that. And I watch those videos and they stress me out because they're so like loud and quick. And I always liked your style because I thought it was very chill, but you had enough like transitions and your different shots and stuff. Even like early on, I remember watching one of your juice pouch videos, and you were kind of like setting the stage by like finishing up drinking the juice, and then like you're gonna craft with it. And I thought that's so cute. I never thought of that. Like first, I wouldn't have thought of making something with juice pouch. Then I wouldn't have thought of like filming that like setup shot. That was so like engaging. Uh, so I liked your editing from the get
Thank
go
you.
myself.
Yeah, that was sustainable though. You know, those things I wasn't worried about having a video over 10 minutes, and now it's down to 8 for the ads and everything. But they changed,
Mhm.
you know, a few years back, quite a few years back. They changed it so mid-rolls could only be if your video is 10 minutes plus. So I never worried about the length of my video. Some were 5 minutes, some were 12, and now everyone's trying to strive for 12 plus or 20 plus. And um I think with like time lapses and paint with me's that works, but there's only so much that I can do when I'm switching the camera angles, when I'm drawing and stuff, because I don't film straight through. Not often will I film straight
Mhm.
through because I like to switch the angles. But I think yeah, there's been a lot of changes, and I think that I had a video. So with the wood burning videos, it was actually just drawing on wood with Posca paint pens. I made that video in December of 2021, so a little over 2 years ago. And at the beginning, it didn't really get much traction, but randomly a few months back, it just started blowing up, and now it's at almost 900,000 views.
Oh, wow.
But YouTube is not recommending my newest wood burning video. And
Mhm.
I try not to worry about analytics too much because you just kind of will drive yourself crazy doing that. But I've looked at retention on my top performing videos overall. My retention is not over 50%. It's usually they're 25 to 45% retention. So it's nothing special with any of the ones that blew up and got millions. So I think that it's more so about, if your video is being recommended alongside other people's channels that are similar to yours, are people clicking on those videos potentially? I don't know. I mean, YouTube and Google will say a ton of different things about that, and there's not really a clear-cut answer, but I know that when more subscribers are watching initially, they'll say on the little dashboard, hey, more people are watching, so we're going to recommend it to more. And I've seen the opposite where, hey, less people are watching, so we're not pushing it out
Yeah.
as more. And they literally will tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And that's
I know.
awful. I
It
hate
is.
that. But I just wanted to, talk about that wood burning video, or the wood painting on wood video, just to, if anyone's watching right now, don't get discouraged if your video is not performing well right out of the gate. Anything can happen over the years, so it's not
Yeah,
just
totally.
it's not dead.
Yeah, and I think like if you have an older video, especially if it has had time to get likes and comments and be served up, and YouTube knows at least it's a solid video
Mhm.
that like oil pastels seem to be really popular right now. And I have older oil pastel videos, and I did this 10 techniques for oil pastel video, I think it was a year or two ago, and it was all right. It did fine. But now it's like one of my top videos because I think oil pastels are getting really popular. So
Yeah.
people are searching oil pastel techniques, and that's showing up, or they're watching somebody else's tutorial and it's on the sidebar. And the thing I like about that is if somebody sees your idea and tries to copy it, and they post a video and it gets popular, your video will show up on the sidebar, and you'll get another kind of like uh, resurgence of popularity from that. So
Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah. And I think there's been a trend too in how-to content, especially since the pandemic, because I think people are just burnt out with trying to be productive all the time that I'm noticing people are watching more videos for entertainment than watching how-to videos. So like my tutorials are not doing as well currently, but
Yeah.
I do a weekly video called Sat Chat, which is just, talking about the week. It's very, very entertaining. Or I don't know if it's very entertaining, but it's not, nobody feels obligated to be making something. Because I think sometimes if you watch a tutorial, you feel bad if you're not making the thing. At least maybe with my audience is older. My audience is mostly uh, 35 plus, but my biggest demographic is I think like 45 to 55.
Yeah.
So I think people are like, oh, we've got to be productive, so we're not going to watch this painting tutorial unless we're going to do it. But you don't feel as guilty watching a like a review or a sat chat or listening to a podcast because you can clean your house where you're listening to a podcast.
Yes.
So I've noticed that's a trend I've noticed since the pandemic anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was going to say. For me, if I am not listening to music while I'm getting ready or while I'm cleaning, I want to listen to a video that one either improves my life or my mindset in some way, or a story. So like if you're doing a painting video and you're talking about, you can talk about like the technique and stuff, but if you have a story that goes along with it, or you're talking about your day or your week while you're painting and you're like, okay, now I'm going to paint this guy with this beautiful blue, and that reminds me of this sunset that I saw the other day or whatever. I don't know. So it's cool to just hear people talk about anything that's been going on in their life, or just sharing more about themselves, or even more about the supplies in general. Like, I love this paint, but I've also really enjoyed these brands, and like, I don't know, just kind of go off on more than just what's on the screen.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of watching YouTube for company. I do that. I love to have
Yeah.
something playing in the background while I'm going about my day. It's like having somebody around. And I used to have the TV on all the time or the radio on or something just to hear that, kind of friendly chatter in the background. And I think people enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
If you were to if you were to start a brand new YouTube channel tomorrow, knowing what you know, thinking about how you want to live your life and the type of things you want to make, how would you do it? What would you do?
Okay, so can this be how I have a new channel, kind of? Or would it be a
Yeah,
new?
you. Um,
So I have my.
we're gonna talk.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about your newly launched business that's also part of a channel. Uh, I guess
Okay.
would you rather do you have a different idea or would you do want to talk about that first?
No, I guess we could do the hypothetical if I made like a new art channel.
Yeah.
Um, I this is hard. I feel like I would be a little bit more niche with it at first and just kind of I, essentially it has to be what I'm doing with my daily life. So I would really put an emphasis on what do I want to do? What do I want to share with people, as opposed to what can I get to create a video with? That kind of mindset. So I think it's really important. When I started out, I already had all these crafts that I was working on, like sewing Starburst wrappers onto my homecoming dress and making purses out of juice pouches. Those were things that I actually did in my free time. And I think at some point it turned into, what can I do that people are going to like, instead of like, what am I going to like? What do I like? So I think, starting a channel, I wouldn't necessarily like, I definitely want to upgrade some of my tech and cameras, but I feel like that also is not like a huge issue, because I grew to my first 1 million subscribers using a camcorder, natural lighting, and iMovie. So before then it was Windows Movie Maker, and then I think I was a friend gave me, oh shoot, it was some other editing program I haven't used in a long time, but it was a better one than Windows Movie Maker. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that it would be maybe a little bit more grown up. I wouldn't try to, which last year, as recently as last year, I did a slime video because I was kind of like what can I do? I was still kind of in that mindset of scrambling to try to get my channel to revive, I guess. And that's not the way to do it for me. Like, I don't. So I've gained a lot of clarity in the past year, I think. Even growth is every day. I mean, it's not linear either. I've had some setbacks that I feel like, oh, why did I do that within, the past year or two? Why did I do those things? It's not like they're bad. It's just, it doesn't really align with what I want to do moving forward with my growth personally and how I want to brand myself. So
What do you make, like, when you're crafting for fun and the camera's not rolling?
mostly the wood stuff, paintings.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think, so I have, this is not on purpose, but I have this behind me because I was working on it. So I've
Oh,
been
cute.
loving, I haven't done the edges and it's not completely shaded, but just painting on wood. I mean, this doesn't, and I like things that don't take 20 hours. That's something I've really struggled with. I don't know if you would call it imposter syndrome, but I personally, over the years, part of my old plan of becoming a better artist was to be able to do hyper realism more often. And that's not for me. I can do it if I really put my mind to it. But sitting in front of one canvas for 40 hours or more, it doesn't make me happy. It's something that I could do
Mhm.
over the course of a year. I would maybe make 1 or 2 pieces hyper realistic, but I kind of like the semi-realism that only
Mhm.
takes, a fraction of that time.
And I think a lot of people like that too because, like some of the artists I'm friends with on YouTube do very beautiful, realistic work, and they also struggle to gain traction. And I think part of it is that it's not approachable to the average
Yeah.
viewer that's thinking, "Hey, I've got a couple hours on a Sunday. I just want to paint something. There's no way I'm going to be able to that will take me years to finish, but if it's
Yeah.
like a small painting on a greeting card or on a wooden plaque or something that is approachable, that when I look at it, I feel
Yes.
like, okay, I could do that, and it still looks nice. Um, I think that's a great spot to be in because there's a lot of people that want to create that kind of art too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think being honest with yourself is really, really important because there's so many things that you might want to try and you might want to be a jack of all trades and you can definitely do that, but it doesn't mean that you have to try to become a master at something just because you think it looks beautiful. Oh, I could do that. Oh, I want to do that. But do you really want to do that? And I'm asking you to ask yourself because I have I've tried a lot of things that um they just didn't bring me as much joy as I thought they would. Just by accomplishing it didn't really do it for me.
and it can be frustrating if you do something and it gets really popular and you're like, I never want to do that again. But now
Yeah.
that's a popular thing I'm known for. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that we tend to burn out when we try to cater to someone else's expectations and we put all this effort in and we make these things because we think others will like them,
Yeah.
but we don't get a reward that's equal to the amount of energy and time that we put into it.
Yeah.
I think that's where it all falls apart.
Yeah. I actually have an example from my channel. I completely forgot. At some point, maybe back in 2015, 2017, around that time, bullet journals were really popular. I have, aside from school, when I would use a planner to write down my assignments, I'm not someone who can use a planner without turning it into a full on art project. So it doesn't serve me much use because it's not actually helping me save time or get things done because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to buy 1,000 stickers. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy 20 sticker packs. I'm going to get these pens. And then I'll just sit there and like decide which sticker is going to go on the page for hours. So that's not something that I'm capable of doing. But at some point, everyone who I was watching, not everyone, but they're like, in order to be productive, you need to use a bullet journal, you need to use a planner, you need to write stuff down. And I just need a scrap piece of paper. Otherwise, I'm not going to get things done. Or my phone. Just put it in the notes. So again, with the being honest with yourself, don't try to be something that you're not, because it's not going to be helpful when you're just gosh. I did that series though for quite a few months, and I don't know how, because it was a chore.
Yeah. Planners have gotten really big though. I
They're
noticed them like,
wonderful.
yeah, like this, it seems like the scrapbooking community moved a lot to card making and then some moved to planners.
Yeah.
And I just think because, and I used to use a paper planner because I like to write things down,
Hmm.
but I switched over to digital because I could see myself starting to decorate the planner and trying to make it really cute. And then I'm like, this is not efficient. This is like the most inefficient way that I could plan my day. And I totally can understand wanting to like, because people will keep their planners as kind of visual records of their lives, and I can totally understand that. And then I see some planner hobbyists that will have like 20 planners going at once. It's like, how do you know where to look? How do you know what you're doing? I couldn't function like that. I'd be way too overwhelmed.
Yeah, I feel ya. I definitely get that.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your new channel and what you're up to there.
So my new channel is called Sarah Lynn Studios, and it kind of goes off all the other channels I tried to do over the years. I had a fashion channel, so that was Sarah Lynn Fashion. I just kind of do the Sarah Lynn with everything. My very first channel was Sarah Lynn Tea, TEA, not because I drink tea though, it's because my last name starts with the T, Takis, and I just kind of use that as T, like the initial T. So anyway, Sarah Lynn Studios now. I have finally started a small business where I guess you could call it a stationery business, but I also am doing jewelry. So I've designed a ton of stickers, enamel pins, bookmarks, notepads, and then, yeah, like I said, some necklaces, but I haven't actually created the charms yet. So I think the next time I reach out to my pin manufacturer, I'll ask them if they can do some charms so I can actually sell like my custom necklaces as opposed to charms that I've had, for a
Hmm.
while. They're really pretty, but I want it to be more like my brand, I guess.
Hmm.
So I spent the past, well, I guess in August, I think it was August, September time, I just was really reflecting on the year and the past and all the things that I've wanted to do and try. And I realized, you keep saying you're going to start a shop every single year. And what do you not do? You don't start that shop. So I have, with my SoCraftastic channel, took kind of a break. I mean, I was posting a little bit, but I decided to really focus on designing, learn more about Procreate, learned more about Illustrator. I designed all my packaging and just researched a ton of manufacturers. And what started out as me wanting to maybe have like 5 enamel pins and 5 vinyl stickers turned into over 25 stickers. And I have, different products that I'm ordering and working on. At the moment, some things I haven't released yet. Washi tape will be in my store soon. So yeah, I just decided to go all in and finally make something that I wanted to do for the longest time a reality. Because before, all the YouTube stuff I was selling on Etsy, just, handmade jewelry, reconstructed jewelry, and polymer clay charms. So I think some of my old stuff I'll be able to like put back in eventually. But yeah, I'm really happy that I, invested in myself and put that time into learning new skills and doing something that had been on my to-do list forever.
It's great. So, do you have stuff ready for sale already, or has it launched?
Yeah, I launched on Leap Day, so February
Oh,
29th.
cool.
Yeah, it's sarahlynt.com. That's it. So it's it's been a little over a month. That's awesome. I didn't even realize, it's been a few weeks since it's been open, and it's fun to pack orders and, get to write people's names on there and on the thank you card and everything. So yeah, I have a lot to learn still, but I feel like it's off to a pretty good start. Like I'm really happy that I got a few orders. I mean, um, yeah, that's kind of the fear going into it is like, what if no one orders? What if just my mom orders? She didn't even order. No, it's fine.
Oh, that's exciting. Are you going to, is it going to be only an online business? Are you looking to wholesale your designs, or are you going to do some fairs and festivals?
Right now it's just my own website. I'm contemplating going back to Etsy just for the search engine, but I hear a lot about the fees that have increased and everything, so I'm not sure about that. Wholesale, I would definitely be open to that. I just need to learn a little bit more. I know that there's, I think, a website called Fair, so I can look into stuff like that. And then as for local stuff, I think it would be really cool I know that there's a Maker's Mart downtown in my city where, all the local artists can take, like, there's a ton of stickers and stuff and like magnets that people take. So it'd be cool to maybe do some like boutiques and or Maker's Marts. But as for art shows or like craft shows, yes, but maybe not this year. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe next year when I have more
Mhm.
inventory and am a little bit more organized. But I definitely want to get out in the community more. I think that that's something when I was putting more focus on spending maybe 40 hours on a video, I could have been getting more involved with the community for some of that time. So I would love to do that at some point.
Oh, nice. Well, we will definitely put a link to your shop in the show notes and the video description so people can check it out. Have you mentioned it on your SoCraftastic channel yet to your viewers?
Before it opened, I hinted at it and I showed a few of the things, but I have not actually done an official announcement because the community tab I did put it on there, but that doesn't get a ton of traffic, I guess. So I have this collaboration I'm working on with a bunch of artists in the YouTube community. We're doing an art journal, which is Create This Book by Mariah Elizabeth. So I am going to disclose my shop. It probably will be up next week because I'm in the editing phases right now. Well, that'll be
Oh,
really
nice.
exciting. But then after that, I want to make a dedicated video, kind of along the lines of I made my dreams come true and just kind of talk about all the stuff that went into the shop, like why I did it and why now, and all the stuff that I learned and all the products and everything.
I think that'd be really interesting and also inspiring for other young women that are thinking about like what they might want to do, especially I'm thinking like women that are in high school that are like,
Yeah.
I would love to do something creatively, but I don't see a path forward. How would you even go about doing that? And I saw in your vlog you were actually showing some of the behind the scenes of designing the products. And I think that's great because I mean, you probably remember getting into YouTube. YouTube were so new. There was no like guidebook. Like, how do I do this? How do I, what do I do next? You just have to figure it out. But having that behind the scenes, I think is nice for anybody, you know, that looks up to you thinking like, oh, I'd like to do that someday. How would I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I and
Yeah.
and that's how I learn things. I'm a lot better at seeing people do it and hearing them personally tell me as opposed to going on a bunch of websites and trying to read those things. So I definitely think it's beneficial. Since I find it beneficial, I know that there's going to be people like me who really, thrive more from learning more hands-on.
Mhm. There's a woman who has a stationery business, and she posts probably weekly vlogs about just, like, her day-to-day, what she does, like, in
Yeah.
her stationery business and what she does, like, oh, she'll go out to lunch with her husband, or she'll do it's just very she might be getting, like, Christmas time, getting ornaments or something for her tree, and, "Oh, I'm working on this for Christmas, my Christmas lunch," um, and it's really enjoyable to watch. I mean, I'm not her style is very different from anything that I use, but I just find her personality so engaging and it's just neat to see like what goes on behind the scenes. And so I think that would be great on your So Craftastic channel. And forget Etsy, you got almost 2 million people that already know you that would love to
Yeah.
like cheer you on and have a piece of that So Craftastic design stationery in their lives.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I just get nervous sometimes, but you have to be patient and trust in the process and realize that some people have been doing their online shops for a decade. So you're not going to just start off going viral unless you get really lucky on TikTok maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I will incorporate more of what I'm doing in my shop and on my vlog channel, on my craft channel. Like if I'm doing paintings, I can, maybe share the process of how I'm going to turn them into prints, because that's something I've actually never done. You'd be surprised. I did it in college, but I have never made art prints, even though, people have asked over the years, will you ever make a print of this? I'm like, oh yeah, at some point. And then maybe the some point will be this year. So
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be perfect to list in your shop,
yeah,
especially your shop, and you're not paying Etsy fees or like
right.
those print on demand fees where you only get a tiny portion of the sale.
Yeah, I tried print on demand a couple years ago with just like hoodies and stuff. I sold a few, but that, excuse me, that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do because it's so impersonal. It feels like, you're not actually shipping it out. You're not actually ironing the hoodie or anything like that. So there's nothing that really connects me to it aside from just my art. Like, just, and I'm not dissing on print on demand. I think it's great for people who do those things. But for me personally, I like to like feel connected to my artwork and the digital. So it's hard for me, like even with my stickers and stuff now, it's like I didn't actually draw those. I put them on Procreate and it just didn't feel as it didn't feel the same as doing a painting or a drawing. So having those products makes me feel more connected to them rather than just like having someone else send them, because digital art to me doesn't feel like as big of a connection to the piece, if that makes sense, just for
Mhm.
me.
Well, yeah, because well, your whole SoCraftastic world has been hands-on crafts,
Yeah,
and so yeah, I totally understand that. Do you have an art job outside of YouTube, or does this take everything?
this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
This YouTube and my shop now. Hopefully,
Mhm.
working with some more brands in the future because I've kind of taken a break from that for the most part. So, a lot of rebuilding and regrowth happening in the future, in the near future, hopefully.
Nice. I love your storage that's in the background
Thank
there.
you. Let's see if
Is
we can
that
get a
a
little.
dream? Yeah. Oh, it's so cute. It's so well organized.
Yeah, so that is a dream box, and I actually did a brand deal with them or a partnership back in 2022. So yeah, if anyone's interested, I think I still have an affiliate link, but it's wonderful. I I've never been this organized, to be honest. I mean, I have the IKEA drawers out in the garage, but you can't see many of those. You can't see anything until you open the drawer,
Mhm.
so you kind of have to memorize where everything is. So this and then rolling carts. Rolling carts are my favorite. The three
Oh,
tiered
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I like how that has clear bins because I need
Yeah.
to see where I need to see everything. Either shallow drawers, clear bins, carts, stuff where I can like put my hands on something within 30 seconds or I'm never going to use it. So I like that.
Yeah.
My my mom my mom has a dream box from it was probably one of their first ones because and all of the little bins are all like canvas. So I think it's like got
Cool.
maybe like a frosted clear window in the front, but you can't see in all of them like you can on yours. I really like that design. I think that would be very, very handy.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize they've evolved so much. I know they're making changes even now, but um and then if you don't like that look though, some people put scrapbook paper or I think maybe wallpaper on
Mhm.
the drawers and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I think I'd just close it up if I didn't want to see my supplies because that's
yeah,
the whole point is that you
I
just can
know.
close it right away and it looks like
Yeah.
furniture. So,
Let's see. And then it
and if
does,
you,
you can close it even. Oh, I don't have it. Oops. But yeah, I
yeah,
don't have it. You can do one more
yeah.
close and then like everything will be hidden and it looks like a little closet, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's really clever, and, I've even seen people DIY them, take, like, bookshelves and, like, hinge them, and that's a really clever idea too, so that's
Yeah,
what I think I love about the DIY community is that there are really great things that are being invented, but there's also really creative people that are like, "I love that idea, I can't afford it, I'm gonna do this," and, I love that you can see there's room for all of it, you
yeah,
know? Somebody making their own doesn't take anything away from that company or
right.
people that bought that, but it gives it more opportunity and more ideas for people that are doing it on a budget, or maybe they don't have the space, or they're going to be moving in a year, so they can't get this humongous piece of furniture. So I love it. I love seeing how people sort and organize
Yeah.
their studios because I, I'd love to get those ideas. Anytime I think of a new way to store something, it's just it's like it's like dopamine.
Yeah.
So what's in store? What's new coming up for viewers of SoCraftastic? Do you have any new projects you want to share?
Well, I guess I already kind of dropped the create this book collab that I'm doing. So that's an
Yep.
art journal, and there's going to be, I believe, 51 artists total who
Oh
are
wow.
involved in this, and we're all doing artwork on two different pages or prompts. So I just sent it off. I sent the book off to Florida. It came to me from Nebraska, and before then, it came from Australia. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
Di from the Aussie Crafter, she is the one who came up with this idea and has been organizing everything. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. A lot of really awesome artists are coming up in the future. So it might be over a year long process to get it all the way around these different countries and everything. But I'm definitely, or that video is gonna be up on my channel probably next week, as long as everything goes well with editing. But as for spring, summer, fall, the rest of the year, moving forward into next year, right now, my idea is probably more painting, woodwork, and mixed media pieces tied, and then probably some jewelry also. See, like I'm just all over the place because I like so many things, but I definitely want to do more jewelry type stuff. And actually, a few years ago, I started filming where I was painting on wooden pendants for jewelry, but I, for some reason, did not put that video up. I didn't finish the pieces. So that would be a good one for this year. And then probably thrift store makeovers would be fun too.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Because I've already filmed some of those as well. I don't know. I told you I was going through a learning and growth period, but I have almost an entire thrift store makeover painting that I just have to finish. I have the intro for it already, and it'll be me from 2 years ago, but whatever. So yeah, different different mixed media projects probably for the most part.
Oh, that's good. I'd love to see a jewelry resurgence because it seems like that's one of those crafts that kind of ebbs and flows. It'll be really big
Yeah.
and then nothing, and then
Yeah.
it'll get big again. My daughter Lila and I just when she was home on spring break, we organized all of the beads and jewelry making supplies because she has some off at college with her, and then she
Yeah.
has some in her room, and I have a bunch in my storage area. And we finally just decided to get everything organized. And it was like, man, I totally forgot I used to love to make jewelry, and I can't remember the last thing I made. And I'll go through my jewelry box because I wear mostly handmade jewelry that I've made, and it's like, wow, I'll see an old videos like 10 years ago. It's like, oh, I wore that same necklace in that video. I need to like up my game and
I do
freshen
that.
things up a bit.
Oh my gosh, I remember just a few months ago, I was looking up how to solder, and one of your videos came up. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's fun to have a variety channel because as much as I've heard the advice that you should niche down, I think that if you pick a niche that if you kind of pigeonhole yourself into one thing and either the trends change and nobody wants to watch it anymore or you change and you don't want to do it anymore, then you've kind of like got a channel you can't do anything with.
yeah,
So I love the variety, and
me
also
too.
following channels that offer a variety, it can get you interested in things that you never knew about, like
Hmm.
maybe it's jewelry making or knitting or woodworking or whatever. So I don't know. YouTube says they treat every video as if it's its own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really that much of a downside to trying different crafts and different things on your channel.
No, and that's good news because I think I have probably over 200 rolls of duct tape still that should probably be utilized. We'll bring them
Oh, I
back.
have quite a few rolls. Well, if you think of some ideas for duct tape, please let me know because I have a bunch as well.
Okay.
The big duct tape trend of 2012.
Yeah.
Well, I will put all the places that people can find you. Is there anything you wanted to add before we wrap up today?
I don't think so. If anyone has questions for me, I'll, be receptive to replying in the comments, or on Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me. So just DM me.
Wonderful. And I will put links to SoCraftastic YouTube channel, the shop, all of Sarah's social media, so you can check her out online and check out her crafting. And if you are a parent or a grandparent, she has such a family-friendly channel that you could put that channel on for your kids and grandkids and not worry about anything untowards being on that channel whatsoever, especially for polymer clay and
Yeah.
bath bombs and duct tape crafts and painting. And I mean, it's my daughters love it. I don't know how many young men watch your channel, but I know my daughters loved it anyway. So
I think
a great gift to the
my percentage was like 10 or 15% men over the years.
yeah, sounds about my channel is 80% female, 20% male. So yeah, definitely more of the feminine crafts on my
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah, same.
Well, thank you so much for spending some of your afternoon with us today. It has been so delightful to get to know you a little bit better and to chat and to see your kittens as they made their cameo appearances. So if you're listening in a podcast player, make sure you come over to the YouTube channel and you can catch a glimpse of her cute kittens at the beginning of the video. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. Thanks to everyone for watching. And as always, happy crafting.
Yeah, thank you
Bye.
for having me. Bye.